No, not tonight. Tonight is November 2nd, and tonight we are not, I repeat, not covering just the 5 minute full circle tonight. Tonight, we're covering as much as I possibly can. We're going to do 5 minutes. We're going to look at hours. We're going to look at flag and pennant. We're going to look at it all, okay? Because I want you to see how diverse this company really is and how much we care for your success. And we know that it's tough out there. We know that there's a lot of people out there that are trying to throw a whole bunch of crap at your face with trying to figure out, spend money here with this system. Oh, you'll get a good ROI on this, or you'll get 20, 30 pips a day on this system. Using the Nadex platform, using our priority process of using our indicators, these aren't your standard run-of-the-mill indicators either. Okay, our support and resistance indicator and our trend reverse indicator has a lot of stuff that's behind the scenes on it that a lot of people don't know about, and that's okay by me. I'm okay with that, right? You got to have some secrets, right? We're a very transparent company, but there's a limit to some of that stuff, right? I'm not going to be sharing our source code with you, let's just say, right? We are in business. Let's be real, right? We have to make money. So I'll give you a brief introduction who we are. Is there anybody here that's brand new, that isn't part of the company yet, that hasn't bought in, that hasn't said, here's my money and I'm ready to buy, I'm ready to go? Is there anybody here who hasn't done that yet? And I'm not trying to isolate you. I just want to see and get a pulse of the room tonight to find out, say, who are we talking to tonight. If we're talking to mostly people that are customers, then we're going to have a little bit of fun right off the bat. Is there anybody here who hasn't bought in? Don't feel embarrassed or that you haven't, but don't worry about it. You'll get some good stuff here too. Is there anybody here who hasn't? Just put in there new or hello or Rudy. You haven't yet. Now, I think it's circumstance, didn't you, or something? This is like the third or fourth night I've seen you here, and I don't mind. You rock, right? All right, so we want to get you into this system. No more. Anybody who's coming here, you got to at least be paid for your time, right? So we're going to take care of you tonight. You, sir, tonight are going to get comped a free month for being here, for being so diligent. Amy, if you're online, write into chat and get that person on board as fast as possible, because there's no more messing around here. You have to see how wonderful this stuff is. And the only way to do it is not sitting on the sidelines watching you talk about it. It's in getting and doing it, right? So enough messing around. Yeah, David's back again. All right. I can't give them all away. All right. Give them out like M&Ms, right? But listen, David M., if you can afford to get into, or I think you are in, aren't you? But you can come back as many times as you want, because tonight's going to be different, right? We're not going to be running on the same run-of-the-mill stuff here, all right? So make sure you contact customer support and tell them who you are and what you've done. I want to get you into the system. I want you to see it, and you'll find that once you start really getting and honing in on this process, it's going to blow your mind on how simple we've made it and how fun it's going to be for you to start using it in that fashion. All right, so congratulations and welcome aboard. But let's get started. Right now, you're going to see, I'm going to show you results. I'm going to show you all this stuff later on. I'm going to show you inside the system. There's going to be not in yet, still recovering from accident. Oh yeah, that's right. We're supposed to get you in as well. But there's going to be things that you're going to see in this system that are about money, right? Everything that we do has risk. I mean, everything. I mean, you could wake up, you could have everything working perfect, and you hit the wrong button. I one time put 100 contracts onto a deal, and my heart palpitated. I thought I was having a heart attack. And it went on as like clear as day. Didn't have one single problem putting 100 contracts on. It's not like it waited in the working order bin or anything else. It just went all right on. It was like Nadex knew. It was like, all right, this idiot just threw 100 contracts on, and we keeping it. And I watched that thing. It was on for a 1.5 hour trade. And the first 5 minutes, and I was like, I couldn't breathe. And it got to like minus something. It was like, I forget what it was. It was like minus $3,000, whatever. I was like, and my mind was like losing. I was gone. I was up and I was pacing. I was yelling. I was doing all this stuff. And of course, a mistake isn't learned from if you make out with it, right? If everything turns out great, you're like, wait a minute, did I really make a mistake there, or am I a trading genius? And no, you're not. You've made a mistake. You effed up. Okay? There has to be pain. So it got to about $1,000 in the hole, and I bought out of it. And boy, was it a hard lesson. Tough, 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 tough. So there's risk. Even if you do have experience, you can lose money. The other thing is that you're going to see me trade. You're going to see other people trade. You're going to see results. It means that all results may vary because they do. You might do the same thing somebody else does, but you might get in differently. You might make more. You might be more resilient or disciplined or ready to make things go. It doesn't mean that if that person is, you automatically are. You have work to do. Okay? Keep that in mind. That, and I promise lawyers, I'll never say blah, 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 blah again on your stuff. All right. Now, normally I would go through all the 5-minute circle stuff, blah, blah, blah. Here, I'll do the blah, blah, blah stuff on me. But I'll give you the straight skinny. You ready? Because we're going to be doing, this is pre-webinar stuff, but we're going to be doing a little different process tonight, right? 2 years ago, people stole their money. Okay? They stole our money. Overseas binaries and a signal company stole our money. We got really super angry, right? We got so angry that we built DEX Signals. Okay? And in building DEX Signals, we started to bring on as many people as we possibly could. We started to meet all these wonderful people. And we started to build a signal system that was giving us a very high yield of success and rate, but there was work to do behind it. And then we started building indicators to help that signal system work even better. And we found out one pretty cool thing. We're really good at building indicators. Not just indicators, strategies with those indicators. Right? Because you can have a great signal. You can have an awesome indicator. But if your strategy sucks, it don't mean squat. Right? So when we started to build DEX indicators, we knew that we needed to put out some major fires at first. We had to test these things. And of course, the same thing is true with all of our stuff. We have a strategy tester. We've tested these for many, many months. We've been really pushing our strategies and our systems. And we knew that we needed to have the best customer service, which we do, an ability to talk to the people who run it and own it, which we do. Okay? So you get to talk to me. Not that that's the best thing in the world. I'm not like a celebrity, but I've been around. I've been working in home now for close to 9 years. Okay? Not on welfare. I make good money. We got 2 homes. Got all this stuff happening. We travel a lot. We do a lot of stuff. You won't see me out on Facebook on the laptop lifestyle either, by the way. I can't stand those people. Good for you that you've made your living, but stop flaunting it. Show me in practice. Show me to do it. Show me how to do it, and I'll do it. And that's what we're looking for from you. We want to show you how to do it. We want to show you how to get to where we're at and how to get to these things to make them work for yourself. But we have to teach you. So building these learning systems, we have some of the best learning systems from what I hear. Okay, I don't want to sound like Donald Trump, And again, no plot politics, but we have the best schools and all that stuff. But listen, you have to learn, and then you have to train. Right? We know this. This is an absolute. Okay. You have to learn, and you have to train, and then you have to do. Okay, and this work that you have to do has to happen every day, and you have to be disciplined to do it. So we knew that we needed to do those things. So when we built DEX indicators, we knew that we had to come up with a system to be able to train people how to use them, but quickly. So that's when we came up with a 5-minute strategy. We were already using a 5-minute process to train people in trading in our Trader's Mind series. So we built it. We built a strategy around 5 minutes using our 2 indicators, our support and resistance flagship indicator, and our trend reverse flagship indicator. Each one of these, when we combine them together, each one of them alone is powerful. But when we combine them together, and I added a whole bunch of things into this one to make it work even better just recently, you all had the update to it. Right before we released, I put the update out there. This is when things started to get crazy. We started to see things like 98.7% success. Okay? We had people who were testing them out because what we do is that we ask our customers to show us the results to share their results. Why? Because we want to prove not only to you, but to us that it can be done. You can get somebody like myself who has years of experience worth of trading come in and do really well, but I want to make sure the average Joe. How many of you ever been to a company where you've heard somebody talk about trading and you're like, I have no idea what this man is talking about and he wants to train me, and that's okay. But there's no wonder he's making 10 grand a month, because this guy can do anything with that machine. And then you're like, then you try getting into it and you're like, damn. It's like a brain surgeon coming in and trying to tell you how to do brain surgery and saying, here you go give it a shot. There's no way. You got to go to med school. You got to figure out, for some of you, where your brain's at. Right? So now, as we started to build this process out even further, it was like we had to have the training, we had to have the systems, we had to have the programs. How are we going to deliver this to people? So we made DEX indicators to have everything in there that you need. We already know that, right? And let's just pretend you already know that. And I know it's tough. We've been hurt. So I need you to do from 7-11 right now, 11 minutes after 7, I want you to imagine that you have found that company for you. Just give me just 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes at the most right now with that in your mind, that this is your company, okay? That this is something that you have founded, and the things that you have always wanted in a company exist right here in DEX indicators and DEX signals. And let's just imagine that just for a moment, okay? That's exactly what you have here. And at the end, if your imagination doesn't meet up with reality, then we can part ways as friends. Okay? I can make you that promise. Now, when we created this process, it was very powerful for us, and it became overwhelming because there was a lot riding on it. So when we developed our 5-minute system for training people, we called it Full Circle because, man, we came back to this system because originally we were trading in 5-minute trades for Trader's Mind, and we did this, right? It was so crazy. Now we're telling people, now you can make 5-minute money. That's bad, right? I probably shouldn't say that out loud, that you can actually make 5-minute money, but you can, and it's so crazy. But I found something else out. Also works on a 1-hour trade, an intraday trade. Yeah, with a click of a button, one button push, turns it into a 1-hour trading system. And also on Natex's 2-hour trades, are referred to as the dailies. It's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. All with a push of a button. And why? Because we've done the work behind it. We've traded the hell out of it. We strategy tested, we back tested, we forward tested, we at the money it, we test the different variables, we test the different arrow times, we test it. I'm not going to go through all the rules and all the filler and the filters you need to apply tonight. Tonight's not that night. We might make Wednesday nights all get out, go for the gold, show you everything in the bucket. You ready? You guys ready to see everything in the bucket? Oh, by the way, this is just the 2 indicators, right? That support and resistance and trend reverse system. We have a total of 6 indicators on the system. And one of them, coupled with the SR, again, and I think you should put the SR on everything you got, right? It's called the flag and pennant. When you add the SR with the F&P, everything's okay. As long as you're not MIA. All right? I know, that was late. It's okay. So, let's get over and have a look. Some of you can see, oh, this is the flag. Okay, but we didn't want to do that one. Not yet. Normally when I come over, as most of you seen in the previous webinars, I like to have my machine running with the 4, what we call the 4 square, right? It works on the 4 major pairs that Natex uses. We won't go through all of them, but these are just 4. These are just the 4 that it works on the 5-minute. This is the 5-minute series, right? And we use it, again, I don't want to tell you what all the rules are and all that stuff, but when arrows show up at certain times, you get in for a rate, you use your marker to find out what the price is, you add a couple extra pips, you grab the direction, you use the SR levels, temporaries or full times to gather your strike prices, and you go for it. And there's plenty of data to support all the time frames and everything else we use. Okay, we're on a 1 minute chart. The moment you want to turn it to a 1 hour trading system, you flip it to a 15-minute chart. And then you're only using it on the 30-minute and the 45-minute. Again, I don't want to go through all the rules. Not right now. I normally do on these webinars. But tonight, I want to get enough tread under the tires tonight with you to show you how much and what this thing can actually do. Now, we're only talking about this system. This is just one set of indicators. I don't have anything else on here. 2 indicators. How many of you have friends, or maybe yourself, that trade with like 5 or 6 indicators? Maybe 6 to 8. Can anybody in the room tell me? What's the most indicators you've ever seen on a chart? I think I've seen like 20. I think that's the most. And I won't even mention names. You know, I'm not even going to mention companies. Okay. But you know who you are. You have a Bollinger Band. You got a Fibonacci run. You got stochastic. God, I had 2 EMAs, a double stochastic, Bollinger Bands, a volume control. I think so. There's 5 or 6 that I was trading with regularly. Right? Paralysis analysis kind of stuff. 15 different filters. If it crosses the Bollinger Band at a 45-degree angle and coming out of the overdrawn, that's like, I was blowing my head out. You can throw a couple of cats on there, right? A different kind of indicator. So 2 indicators. And guess what? Both of them deal with one major thing. Do you know what they both have in common? You ready for this? The most powerful trading system known to man. The big secret. That's a secret ingredient. Everything I do is price action. And no, I'm not talking about the tarot card reading thing called candlestick pattern reading. Okay? Well, I wait for a spinny top to turn into a doji and then a Running Man series fly-in apron Orion's star belt. No, I don't do any of that. I'm sorry, there's only so much that I can take. Okay? Using a 1 minute chart, I'm not worried about dojis or shooting stars or hammers or whatever, right? What I'm looking to do is that I use price action on the support and resistance area, the psychological value. I use a trending system that spots the weaknesses of the trend folding and gives you a direction. Okay? And when it does that, it gives you, at certain times, the timing to be able to get into. Because if these are on 5-minute increments, this one that's sort of right in the middle would not really close out fast enough, but the one that's right at the end is great for the very next one, right? So you get in there and you win this one because you use the proper one. Okay? So it's timing. So it's support and resistance, trending, and timing. Right? I always tell people there's 2 things that run the market: price and time. That's it. Price and time are the only 2 things that push the market. Right? Time is like gravity. It's existing. It's there. And price is the fuel that runs that car along that road, up or down the hill. Okay? So once you have that, once you understand that, this begins to work. Why? Because you've removed all the other bullshit that you see on all these other charting systems that are out there. Now you get the real, you get as close to what drives this market of price and time, you get as close to that, because price and time needs a driver. Can anybody tell me who the driver is? You. Believe it or not, it's the human. It's the person who's behind. You know, computers do computer buys. Everybody has that. I thought that was a computer buy. That's why I lost that one. No. Humans. A very large majority of the market is still run by individuals. Right? Even though that we use the assistance of computers to do, a lot of you that trade, you novice traders, you retail traders, whatever, is still run by the individual. So those lines, those support lines, they are actually the up and down process of the human element. That's why these lines hold so well. That's why they get rejected and supported at points. And when they get broken, for some reason, they always seem to come back to it just a little bit. They break through and come back just a little, break through and come back just a little. Because there's a battle going on. Humans love to war, and that's what the market is a war. So prepare yourself for war. Let's get you as many tools as possible. But listen, having an arsenal is not being able to fire every gun at once. Let's be real. But I want to show you how to be a marksman, how to be an expert. Let's pick one. Let's find out what you're best at. Some of you might be good at close range. Some of you might be good at long distance. 5 minute, 1 hour, 2 hour. I'm going to show you stuff that you can do OTMs, ITMs, and ATMs. All in this webinar, all in the next 10 minutes. I'm going to show you them all. Okay? You've had a real quick peek at the 5-minute trade system. Right? And it works. Why do I know it works? Well, because I know it works. Here's one person. Here's another person. Here's me. Okay? Here's another person. I know it works. I can keep going on and on and on and showing you customer results, customer results, customer results all day long. But how are you going to know that it really works? Oops, sorry, wrong page. Michael Sr. too, that you see in the chat room, he's one of the ones that are on that sheet. It works. And the better that you understand it in the beginning, the better that you work at it, the better it works. That man down there that you just seen says it works, did 100 trades in 3 days to test it. And then another 100. Both being right around 90-something percent, 98% in that success. Started to slow it down and started to really hone his skills doing 5 contracts at a time. Can easily, like right now, this is just from today. Here's 11.2 to 11.2. Okay, what's that? 3 trades, right? I can kind of see it's like 300 and something bucks in there. $419 in 3 trades. Now look, I want you to see this. From 12:50, there's 5 minutes. Must took a long day. And then 3 o'clock, again 5 minutes, and then 4 o'clock. So probably right around 25 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour's worth of work. Let's just pretend it was an hour. Can you guys see that highlighted number? Can you guys see that number? That's $419.25. Remember, all results may vary, of course. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, why am I showing you just the results for the 5 minutes? Because those are the ones we test the crap out of. So how do you know it works on everything else? Because I know it works on everything else. I've done the 1 hour strategy on the back testing and forward testing. I'm now testing in live customer results. And this is where a lot of you come in. I don't have enough people to test everything all at once and to show that it works. And you'll be training it in demo. We're going to ask you to come on board. And why is that so important for you to come on board? Well, maybe if I'm working for you, you should pay me to do it. I am paying you to do it. You come on, you're going to get booking assistants, consults, senior assistants. We're going to talk you through the project. You're going to get customer service out the yang. You're going to get learning systems that are in there. It's crazy. Okay, let's just pretend, like I said, this is your company. And everything I tell you is gospel. And if I say it works, it works. If you come on board and try it out and you want to see how it does work, buy into the club. Buy into the process. This is where it gets serious now. because I'm not going to tell you it works and have you show up and not help you fix it. Make sure that you can make it work, because not everybody can. If you are the type of person that tries something just for a minute and throw it in the trash as soon as it doesn't work for you a second, or you can't figure it out, or it becomes too complicated, I can understand. We try not to make it complicated. We try to make it as simple as possible. But you wouldn't be in this industry hunting if you couldn't handle something. So I have a lot of confidence in you. If you're here on this webinar, you've navigated the internet to get here. You navigated some systems to get here. You've seen an email, maybe you've seen a Facebook, you clicked on a link, you've made the time, you're sitting in your chair and you're listening to me blather on about it. So you're here for a reason. Let's put that reason to use. Some of you here 3, 4 times. Now we're here to make something happen with you. So we just switched from a 5-minute system to a 1-hour system. Okay. Now in the 1-hour system, you don't have as many trades to get into, but you're looking at different protocols for those. You know, you're getting in on the 45, you're only in for an hour, maybe 45 minutes at the most. And so real quick shots at the market, and you're able to do really well at that. How do I turn it into a 2-hour system? Well, if I turned it into a 1-hour system by push a button, it would probably be just as easy to make it another button push. Do you agree? Yeah, you should. Now on this one, you basically so far, okay, from the process are going in at the 30 minutes. That'll give you, so on a 30-minute, so on the 30-minute when that arrow comes out, you're going with that process. You're only in for 2 hours, so it's pretty quick. And you're going to have to be using some real judgment on your support and resistance on this one. But it is pretty powerful. Now this is 3 systems, 3 strategies, 3 learning systems, all in one set of indicators. Still using the same 2 indicators that we originally stated. Right? So what else do you got? It's crazy, because if you're asking that, what else do we have? Hang on one second. I should have had the website up. I did have it up before, and I kicked it out of there. You have to know that we have an entire process of indicators. I don't want to get you. I forgot to turn you back over. There you go. Where did you just go? There we go. Okay. Too many windows up. You can see how many windows I have. Okay. Here's our trend. Here's our DEX trend reverse. Here's our DEX support and resistance. So those 2 are the 2. I just showed you 3 systems working simultaneously that you could work. Right. Each one has its own. So right now we have the 2 strategies on DEX intraday strategy and 5-minute full circle. I'll be getting the daily up sometime in the beginning of next week. But there are some simple rules to it that we have to check. So even then, even if we just use those 2, they're pretty powerful. By the time you finish your first 100 trades in the 5-minute full circle, you'll easily be able to navigate the DEX intraday, because it uses the same parameter of using the support and resistance. Okay. Now, what are these others? DEX pivot I wouldn't worry so much about, and DEX MACD. These are support indicators. Okay. And we'll show you some things that you can be using on these. Okay, if you're trading 5 minutes, if you're trading the 5-minute full circle, you can even use them. But there's some pretty powerful things when you're using it with the DEX flag and pennant. But I won't show you that tonight. But I will show you the DEX flag and pennant. But we also have our DEX daily signal system as well. And this is over from DEX signals that we have our daily signals that come out. And this has a lot of behind the scenes things that are happening in the indicator. So there's nothing else in the world like this. Nobody has this. Nobody. Even if they were to get it and try to mass produce it and everything else, the rules in the set and the way it works, you're going to have mixed results. So you have to know how to use it. Okay? And that's what we teach you inside, how to use it, how to work it. So we have 3 systems with the 2, a 4th with the DEX daily, a 5th with the DEX flag and pennant, Okay? So just sitting right now, you have 5 systems that you can work. And you could test every single one of them out. I don't know if you guys hunted around for indicator networks. How many indicator sites have you ever looked at? You ever see some of them out there? They got hundreds of little indicators, and they all have like these crazy, just little one-page things with a bunch of ads all over it. You probably got spyware or malware all over your sites and all that kind of stuff. You probably get a bunch of these super dolphin, super midnight trader, win you 50 million pips in an hour. You probably get a bunch of that crap. Get tired of that. That's why we built this company, because we wanted to be able to give you the reality of what it is. Right? Okay. So let's go look at some more reality. So we were talking about the flag and pennant system, right? Let me just cut to the chase here and show you. I put on dex support and resistance with flag and pennant. Now, if some of you know what a flag and pennant is, that's great. But really, it's a very simple system to find a direction and a pattern called a flag, which is stated here in the blue lines, and a pennant, which is stated here in the green lines. And very simply, if a market is coming into a flag from the bottom up, that's called a bull, okay, because it's going upwards. And after it exits the flag, if it's continuing on, it's called a continuance. If it reverses out of it, it's called a reversal. So a bull reversal flag or a bull continuance flag also happens on a bear continuance and a bear reversal. We do a few things to it by adding what we call the pole, because every flag and pennant needs a pole. So we show you how to read the pole and what it means. And the long and short of it is that you find the base of the pole, what support and resistance line it touches, like this one here to here. And you can use that once it pierces either the bottom or the top to say how far that's going to go before it rejects. And if you look at it from here to here, and then it comes out the bottom and goes right to that line. Not directly, not straight down, but still it does. This one from here to here goes 18 pips. And once it pops out, goes a little bit more than that, but to that very next support and resistance line, which is up above here, look at that. It's exactly 18 pips. The reason why it works. You see? It's right there. So if you're able to, once this comes out at that point, you know you have a very high likelihood of the system continuing going on. Couldn't you buy into contracts that were right at the money at this point? Or if you were really close to an out of the money, like if you were up to here, couldn't you buy into something like that and have an opportunity to buy it, what we call an OTM? Right? Couldn't that happen? The answer is hell yes. Oops. I had it on there somewhere. Let's go 1 second. There it is. An ATM at the money, an OTM out of the money, and an ITM referring to in the money. The contracts on Nadex for an ATM are right around 40 to 48 bucks. That's even a little high. Okay? An OTM, usually 50 to 70. This means that the price, the market price, or the indicative price is outside of the strike price already when it's OTM. And in the money means it's pretty far in it, and yet you don't have a lot of money on profit, and there's more risk. So now I showed you a system that has 3 parts of it that has very high rate of success, a little bit more risk, but high rate of success. I've now showed you a system that has a 50-50 opportunity of profit, okay, with a high rate of success, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed that. Not just by that one. I could show you chart after chart. This is the Euro USD, the most popular one, right? So let's look. This one is just still unfolding. It hasn't unfolded just yet from that. But 1 is a win, 2 is a win, 3 is a win, And I see that's a win because I would have taken it from at the money, and if it continued on, it would have kept on going up, right? It's a loss when I would have taken it as soon as it unfolded out of the flag. If it reversed in the opposite direction that I got into it at, see, this would have been a buy, okay? Because I would be getting at the money, something close to the at the money. So this one was a win. This one was win, so I would have gotten into the sell. Win. Wouldn't have gotten to this one because it marginalized out before it, we call ranging in that period. Win. Now this one right here is a loss, right? So here's the flagpole coming in. It's a bear flag with a reversal marker, but then it takes off and goes the opposite direction. And I would have gotten in somewhere right around in this area, okay? Because it would have been very close, only about 4 pips. So as soon as it penetrated and closed over my mark, I would have gotten out. I mean, immediately, because the rate of exchange, the rate that this fails is so low, and it will rarely ever close over your strike if you've gotten it, further down from right here. So if it was down here, it will rarely ever go down to meet it and close out over it. So if it's closing out over it, it's rejecting. It's going the opposite direction. Get out. So you can actually get out and scalp out for a loss and not a full loss. Okay? So if the bar closes out over your strike at any time during the trade, a 1 hour trade, get out. So there's one. So how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you got on that one? 5, 6. So 1 to 5 so far, or 5 to 1. Now this one's a little tricky because we were only in for an hour on the trade. There's where it premised out right there. 45, right there. This one would have been a win before it went supernova. Bull or bear down, penetrate out, win. So 2, 3, 4. So 6. There's another win, another win. Now this one would have been a little bit more difficult. We would have gotten in because we wouldn't have known all this mess was unfolding here. But it would have closed out here. We got in right here. So this would have been a win. So there's 12 to 1. 13 to 1. 14 to 1. Let's see here. There, right there. No. 14 to 2. 15 2, 15 3, or 15 2, 16 2, 17 2. So not too bad. 17 to 2, just on the Euro USD. So what's that? 17 divided by 19. 89% success. But here's the thing. At 89% success, with at the monies of $40 to $48, okay, let's look at that. So we're buying, let's just say $40 average trade, right? We won 17 times and we lost 2, right? Is that about right? So if I take that and I say 17 times, let's see, $40, $680, right? So we're going to write that here, 680. That's what we won. And then you take out the minus of the 2, so the 60, so 120. Real easy math, 120, right? $560 more. Oh, by the way, that's trading one contract. How do you make over $1,000 in a day? Trade 2 contracts. You getting it? All right. So I said that I wasn't going to take much of your time. And I said that if you just gave me about 10, 15, 20 minutes to think that this company was the one for you, in that time period, by a show of yes, Okay, and it's okay if you say no too. Just as every single person that's in this room, do you feel I've done a good job proving the fact that yes, this is that company that stands by what they say that it works? It's okay if you don't even answer at this point, because there's one thing that separates me from everybody else is that I know that it works. And I know it takes some to prove it to themselves. But the problem with proving it by yourself is that you're usually by yourself. And when you get questions, who do you turn to? You see some of the people in the room that have senior by their name? You'll see that inside the system over Dex Signals too, right? That means that they've earned their stripes here, that they've earned their time here to really make it happen, right? They've been really pushing themselves to make it and work the process. I don't know how many of you are new here or haven't bought into the system. Rudy just got one for free tonight because he's been here so many times. And I know there's somebody else in here who would help as well. And some of you are customers that are just starting out. Use the devices that are in front of you. Use the tools that you have already at your disposal. That's all of this experience sitting here. I haven't even talked yet tonight about everything that's inside the system, but we're getting a little long in the tooth here in this webinar. And one thing you'll also find is that all of our stuff is pretty short, but you get a lot. Trust me, there's a lot of training, there's a lot of stuff in the back scenes. There's one hell of a customer service system in there too. And Amy Kuipers and Brian Farrow, who are my partners, and my brother Brian, who work so hard at keeping that customer service going. Answers all your questions, try to help you out as much as possible. There's also a booking button there that you want to make sure that you press and set your time with us, with me, with other senior traders that I'll be training here. There's also a new system that's coming out called the Dex Trader Station. And that Dex Trader Station is going to be pretty powerful. It's going to have a mix of some of the strategies that you've seen tonight. And those customers who buy in, even though that you're not part of Dex Signals, those customers that buy into the network, that buy into the system, and that are current customers when this comes out in the beginning of next week, get that system for free. And I've already had one customer today who bought in and said, I don't want to use MetaTrader because it doesn't use MetaTrader. It uses an onboard web-based charting system. And he can see it on his iPad from that point. Not a true application yet, but it will be. And every upgrade from that point. But you got to be a current customer. And in order to become a current customer, you got to go to the site and you got to buy in. It's $147 a month, right? When this system comes out and goes live, it's an added $147 for just this system alone. So it's worth it. Plus, for you guys being so cool and hanging out, please type in Dex Save 50 to save $50 off your first month. Share with us your results. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. We teach you about making a journal to share that time with us. Stop hunting. Stop looking for that perfect thing out there. It doesn't exist. What you need is a company that knows the trials and tribulations you're going through, that are sincere in what they want to do. And that's what it comes down to. For everybody watching this after the fact, I want to say thank you for your time. And really do hope that you join us and become part of this solution that we've built for as many people as possible. And I hope you all trade well. For everybody else, hang out in the room. There might be questions and answers that you have, and I have some time in there to answer them. All right, everybody else take care. My name is Max Farrow. This is DexIndicators.net from Power City Investments, LLC. Have a great night. We'll see you in the next book.